Hello, friends and adventurers, and welcome to a new and exciting series of Sally Cat Plays Blades of Exile. This is the fourth game in the Exile series by Spiderweb Software, and it is a little different from the other three. Instead of being one long story, the registered copy of this game includes 3 shorter stories and a scenario maker, so that users can make their own stories in the Exile-verse. So I'm going to start with the scenarios that came bundled with the game. I have played through 2 of the scenarios myself. I've played through the first scenario a bunch of times when I was growing up. For some reason, we never actually registered this game when I was young. I don't know why. Perhaps because we had a crappy internet connection and I didn't have any other friends who were Mac users, so I wouldn't have had anyone to share scenarios with. But I finally did play the second scenario that's available much later on after I got into emulation, and I've never actually played the third one, so things could get interesting later on down the line. But for now, I've got no party in memory, so let's make a new one. Blah 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 blah. And I'm going to have to go into the preferences and turn off instant help, because that's going to get real annoying real fast. But first, party creation. I have been told that in Exile 3 and Blades, and possibly 2 as well, but definitely 3 and Blades, Fur actually has slightly more skill points to play with than you would get from making a brand new character, so might keep him around a little. So our first character, I'm going to keep him human. Not sure if I want to give him any of these useful traits. Or any of these not-so-useful disadvantages. Though some disadvantages can be good if you're really trying to min-max and reduce how much experience it takes to level up. Worth noting, there is cave lore and there's also woodsman. Cave lore helps one hunt and forage for food and deal with special circumstances. Woodsman is able to hunt and bring down food on the surface, find useful herbs. So presumably cave lore works underground and woodsman works on the surface. And now I get to choose skills for my new person. So he is going to be a frontline warrior. Not sure if I want to give him edged or bashing weapons. Probably swords. Swords are more common. And also, if you haven't noticed, Garnet is here, purring on top of my hand. I think I'll go with this sword fellow. And we will call him Brent. And I'm just gonna skip over the rest of character creation because I feel like that's not very exciting to watch. And I'm done. As I said, these scenarios are shorter than the main games in the series, so especially for the first scenario, I think 5 characters is going to be plenty. And this adventure's crew is an homage to the webcomic Daughter of the Lilies, which I do recommend people read. Let's see. So we've got Brent the human fighter, Orig the slith warrior, Lyra the Nephilim, because Nephil is the closest equivalent I could get to an elf in this game. Also, fun fact, you can independently choose the race and graphic of characters in Exile 3 and Blades of Exile, which means that she can have the stats of a Nephilim and look like a human. Hee hee hee. Then we've got Thistle the human priest and Margot the human mage. So let's start up a scenario, shall we? We will start with the very first one, the one that probably most people are most familiar with, the Valley of Dying Things. The crops have withered, the children are dying, and even the water burns. Can you find the source of the sickness before the entire valley dies? Adventuring! You are on the road at last, vagabonds, travelers, looking for missions to complete, people to help, adventures to have. Soon you will be heroes, if you have anything to say about it. Even better, the Empire hired you immediately, giving you a special mission. You are to go to Skylark Vale and investigate a minor plague or disaster or some other sort of affliction. Sure, the Empire considers it seriously low priority. Otherwise, they wouldn't send you. It'll probably be wrapped up in a week. Still, it's your first job, no doubt the first of many. You have just arrived at Fort Talrus, an Empire outpost on the lip of Skylark Vale. Your orders are to speak with Commander Terrence, descend into the Vale to find out what the problem is, and deal with it. You've just stayed the night in your room at the fort, and have had a good night's sleep and a good meal. Time to go out and be heroes. Instant help, welcome to Blades of Exile, blah 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 blah. Going and turning that off. I don't want you. Okay, good. So, the 3 scenarios that come bundled with the game are all written by Jeff Vogel, presumably are canon within the Exile Spiderweb universe, and presumably take place sometime after Exile 3, given that we are working for the Empire and they don't care that we've got a Slith and Nephil working with us. This is your room, a haven thoughtfully provided by the commander of Fort Talrus. It's dusty, but reasonable. If you wish, you can take a quick rest before journeying onward. Ooh, and they've given us some gold and food to start with. Not much, but enough to get started. And it looks like I started with 100 food and some gold already. Woohoo! Also, humans all start out with bronze knife and crappy shield. Sliths get a stone spear and leather helm. And Nephilim get a cavewood bow and some arrows. And that pulls up my map. Yeah, I keep forgetting that I can have my inventory up at all times in this engine. You leave your quarters, keeping an eye open for the office of Commander Terrence. As you leave, you notice a note which someone has rolled up and tucked between the doorknob and door jamb. It reads, "Feel free to leave your excess items in your chambers. We'll keep them safe. T." Good to know if we ever run into the too much stuff problem. Storeroom. Full of goodies. Which, since I am the hero of this scenario, are in fact mine to take. The bow's probably not going to be great. There's only one pair of boots. Stone short sword is pretty crap, but probably better than the crude knife. Actually, no, Lyra should have the sword. Oh, okay, I've got bronze knife, not crude knife, so I don't know whether the sword or the knife is better. Damage for 1. Stone short sword is marginally better, higher base damage. Anything in the chest? Ooh, yes, armors. None of it's identified, but I'm sure all of it is pretty basic bronze. Hello there. Our first NPC, Aviso. You meet a young magician dressed in traveling clothes. However, you doubt he'll be doing any traveling anytime soon. He is clearly quite ill. He doesn't look like he wants to talk with you. He coughs and gasps slightly. I'm Aviso. I'm trying to flee the Vale. What's it to you? Leaving Skylark Vale. How could anyone stay? It's just too dangerous. And I had to leave things of great value behind as well. This clearly upsets him. He doesn't care to talk about it. His eyes start to tear up, and he bows his head and turns away. Alas. Auxiliary storage. No entry. Am I not allowed to poke in there? Let's get the lockpicks equipped. Well, a lot of it is mentioned as not mine, but there's a pair of gauntlets and helm that I can take. And if Aviso wasn't here, I could take the other stuff anyway. Haha. Some food. And some pants. Emergency water supply. Keep clean. No swimming. Empire forts are legendary for their cleanliness, efficiency, and ritual attention to order. Why then is this room clearly disused? For that matter, why hasn't anyone even bothered to clean up the cobwebs? I guess they're not forging anything these days. A scroll. Yoink. And another scroll. Empire Liaison, on a note pinned underneath, currently vacant. Apparently the Empire is not paying a lot of attention or time or resources to this place. Not even anything to steal in there. An abandoned barracks. And here is the Commander's office. Commander Terrence, acting officer. Man, I'm surprised at how low the security is that a level 1 adventurer can pick all these locks. It's almost certainly just Terrence's bedroom. Oh no, I've lost the commander. Where'd he go? Is he in the dining hall? How far can an NPC wander from where they're supposed to be? I do not actually know. Well, while we're still looking for the commander, we can talk to Maria. This woman looks like she's enjoyed a life of good health and ceaseless vigor. However, something is clearly chipping away at the edges of her vitality, and she isn't at all happy about it. I'm Maria. Welcome to my kitchen, honey. What can I do for you? I cook for the troops, and do what I can for the unfortunates who need help. There are 2 types of crops in the Skylark Vale, meager and dead. Though it's against the rules, those worst off sometimes come up here so I can feed them some of the Empire rations. The Empire has saved many lives. She frowns, against its will. The Vale has 3 towns in it. People from all of them have come for our help. There's Sweetgrove, Blinlock, and Morales. Sweetgrove is just north of here, the largest town in the Vale. Blinlock is a mining town to the northwest. And Morales is the worst case. It was a thriving farming village, well downriver to the west. Now? She shakes her head sadly. Awful. It's just awful. There are still some soldiers here, though they feel pretty useless, poor lambs. What assails this valley, steel can't defeat. The look on her face is balanced evenly between pity and fear. No need to ask me. Just go into Sweetgrove and look around. It'll break your heart. Definitely getting Lyra some lockpicking practice in. I don't think I gained any experience from unlocking doors. Is the commander out here somewhere? No, but you are. This woman has clearly spent a lot of time out in the sun, and a lot of time working with dirt. A trowel hangs from her belt. I am Penelope. Greetings. Well, I grow crops at the fort. It's sort of an unusual arrangement. This is one of the few areas around unaffected by the curse. Or at least, not that affected. We grow some crops here to help out the unfortunates below. Commander Terrence will probably want to speak to you about it, but all you really need to know you can find out by drinking the river water. That was the first thing that went wrong. It all started 5 or 6 years ago. Terrence will tell you more. He's in the office in the southwest corner, unless some stupid adventurer lets him out. She looks sad. It's a shame. He blames himself a lot for being unable to deal with the curse. It's really worn him down. She shrugs and picks dirt out from under her fingernails. It's pretty unusual, I know, for an Empire fort to have a live-in farmer. The curse has caused some arrangements to be made. The river burns. It makes your tongue feel like it's been out in the sun for hours. That's why I grow crops here. They get rainwater, not river water. There you are. Commander Terrence. You meet the commander for Fort Tolerus. He looks like he was once a dashing, razor-sharp soldier of the sort the Empire prides itself on. What ground him down into the weary bureaucrat you could see before you can only guess at. He doesn't get up to introduce himself. He simply says, in a weary voice, I am Terrence, commander of Fort Tolerus. I run Fort Tolerus. or I do so as well as I am allowed. You are the first, the only help the Empire has deigned to send us since the disaster began. And forgive me, but I strongly doubt you're sufficient for the task. So we are the only help that's been sent in 5 years. Aha. Perhaps the Empire was busy with the whole Plagues on Valorum thing. Granted, we have absolutely no idea when in the timeline these scenarios take place. It started 6 years ago, slowly at first, barely noticeable, a bitter taste in the water. Then the taste got worse, like poison. Then the illness began. Actually, we've been spared it up here, unlike the valley below. The animals have sickened. The adults felt constantly ill. The worst fate, however, fell on the children. He shakes his head sadly. They got sick. They died. Most of them, anyway. Everyone started moving away. Those who didn't, well, they're fools. And that's the story. Not much more assistance I can give you. Needless to say, we are granted few supplies. The Empire sends little to a peaceful area such as this one. He clearly only keeps from shouting with great difficulty. However, anything in the main storeroom you'd like, you're welcome to. Also, rest in your room whenever you want. Finally, I know where you can get more information. Mayor Crouch in Sweetgrove to the north. She knows pretty much everyone in the Vale. Someone might have a clue to what caused the disaster. I can only hope so. Just look outside. Look at the valley. See how well we protected it. The disaster started years ago. Yet despite my pleas, you're the first help we've received. For a moment you see the flickers of fury in his eyes. His loss of composure only lasts a moment. Fort Talrus, proud defender of Skylark Vale. His voice drips with irony. The disaster is of such a magnitude, I doubt a few scrubs such as yourself can handle it. However, you are help, and I won't waste you. I will assist you as best I can. Okay. Well, before we leave and head into the valley, I want to make sure we explore the fort thoroughly. And we find some giant rats in the walls. A few of them, in fact. Oh, is archery actually going to be worthwhile in this one? And can I... I can, but then Brent will get burned. He's fine. Two rats is a bit of a waste of fireball. Oh, there's more than just regular rats. There's a vapor rat. Three stinky boys, in fact. Okay, sometimes archery is worthwhile. Combat success! And our reward is a potion. And also a skull, if that is something people want. Ah, no funny description on the skull. Actually, no funny descriptions on any of this stuff. Such a shame. Also, before we head out into the valley, if I really wanted to, I could leave the scenario early. You stare out through the gate at the land beyond. The plants beyond the veil are healthy, the animals content. You can't help but be tempted by the chance to escape, to leave this place of death and never return. Do you wish to leave the scenario? That could be a valid choice if I had started this scenario by mistake, but no, we haven't even seen this place of death. We continue onward. Welcome to Skylark Vale. Sweet Grove is 25 miles north. But of course I'm going to want to explore a bit more of the area. Warning, Skylark Vale is designated an unhealthy zone. Take precautions. Empire Order DUZDL34420. Okay. And unfortunately, when an area is in trouble like this, they get beset by bandits. Yay, gold! And I'm going to be pretty weak for the first little while here. So while I have played through this scenario several times, it has been a while since I've done so. So I know that there are secret things to find. I kind of remember where they are. Also, I'm not really pulling up my map here because if I want to keep the map within my recording area, it's going to block off some other stuff that, yeah, we kind of don't need. Traveling down this isolated valley may have been a mistake. You hear the harsh howls of wolves and the alien battle cries of goblins. A hunting pack has spotted you and is closing in for the kill. Oh no! Disease and bandits weren't bad enough, we've also got goblin infestation. Does force field cover very much? It does cover enough. Okay, that's a way to get my priest a bunch of XP right off the bat. The battle won, you search the corpses of your victims. On the body of the goblin leader, you find a modest reward, a small sack of silver coins. Yay. Combat is still painful, but hey, I had my first level up. I believe Margot, yes, has gotten enough kills for their fireballs. So yeah, this first little bit is just going to be me exploring the valley, getting into random combats. Probably not a whole lot interesting going on. Aha! I remembered somewhere north of Fort Talaris on the eastern wall to start looking for secret passages. You see cooking fires at the head of the valley and approach cautiously. A quick scout ahead confirms your suspicions. A band of bandits are camped up here, counting up loot stolen from the beleaguered people of Skylark Vale. Of course, you could always attack and teach them a good lesson. They look tough, but you would have the advantage of surprise. And of course, you would be on the side of goodness, which always helps. I'll try it. You're in luck. You charge the bandits, and they draw their weapons and attack you. You will be able to fight a glorious battle for the forces of goodness after all. Okay, 8 brigands, 3 archers, and an apprentice mage. Okay. Oh, the mage actually is in my range? Oh good, 1 damage. best setup for fireballs yet. Ow. Maybe I should have hasted Thistle so she can do more blessing and healing. Still alive. Why use advanced strategy when you can just fireball? Maybe for reasons like that. Level up for Orig! Ooh, he gets a lot of extra hit points. Can't cast. Oh, probably don't have enough spell points. Phooey. I could cast flame arrows if that was any good. Can cast my own stinking cloud. Okay, how the heck did a bat do that much damage? I think Margot was cursed. Ah, darn it, now I have to reload. So should I try that again, or should I wait till I'm slightly higher level? Only one archer this time. And no big rock in the way, which is good for targeting enemies and is less good for taking cover from said enemies. Yike! Well, Brent, you do have a decent chunk of hit points and the toughness trait. Oofa. Okay, archery definitely is useful in Blades of Exile. Finally, they got that balanced right. You search the brigand camp and find gold and food and some nice arrows to boot. This is your lucky day. Only took one reload to get it. Okay, that's that map square thoroughly explored. And after that bit of dilly-dallying, I will say we will visit the city of Sweetgrove next episode. Until then, have a good one, everybody.